Hi everyone, welcome to another video in Excel tutorials. Today we'll be looking at Introduction to Excel and Data Cleaning. So when you open Excel, what you first see is a blank sheet or a blank workbook that has many sheets, but these are not the sheets. This one have actually had many sheets here, but you see sheet 1, sheet 2. So the workbook contains as many sheets as possible. In the workbook, you have the ribbons. The ribbons are up here. This is the file. Click on here, it takes you to file. This is where you can actually save your workbook, your Excel workbook, open new workbook, open the blank workbook. That's what happens at the file. Then you have the home tab. In the home tab, what you can see is where you can format your font. If you write anything in the cells, this is where you do your alignment. This is where you change your formatting, and you have the styles, the editing. Then you go to the insert tab. In the insert tab, you insert pictures, shapes, and insert tables and pivot tables, can insert charts, slicers, and all this we'll use it in our tutorial. Then you have the page layout. The page layout here, you can change the themes and the colors, the fonts, and the effects, and change the background. When you go to formulas, formulas is where you play with formulas and say, type in your formulas here. This is the formula bar. You can insert your function here, any function you want to use. Then you go to the data tab. In the data tab, you have where you can get data from maybe database or from file. You have where you can get data from range or table. Then you have where you can do your forecasting. You have where you can use your data tools, your text to columns, flash fields, remove duplicates, all those ones. Your data validation, they happen in the data tab. You have the review tab. You have the view tab where you can view your grid lines, freeze your panes, view your headings. Then the rest, as you would see during this tutorial. Then Excel is made up of rows and columns. Yeah, these are rows. Rows are in numbers, while columns are in letters. So the intersection of a column and row is called a cell. Like this is cell A1. If you type anything here, for example, your name, or you type anything, this is my first. You can type anything in that cell, click enter. You can type your name, click enter. So that's, you type in things in your cells. You can actually format this by clicking this and go to the home tab, make it bold, increase the font here, can decrease the fonts here, also increase it by number, can change the font type, any type of font you want. And for the alignment, you can make it align to top or center, or you can make it align to side, left or right. For example, if it was wide like this, and align it to left or align it to right. Yep. You can change the font, the type, sorry, the format to, maybe this is a text format, so this is text. It might always show general. Yeah, it will always show general most time. If it was a number format like 1, 2, 3, you click on here, you see, and change this to a number format. You want to, then remove it to the zeros. Yep. So I think you can change the color of this text to a color you want. You can also change the color of the cell. Maybe you want to change the cell to another color, let's say a dark color, then change the font to a white color. All these things are part of things Excel can do. Input your value, to input your values, and say, put maybe names, tab, department, tab, salary. Okay, you can delete this and delete this column, right click it, select it. You select from the top, right click and delete. Yep. So you can put names, departments, salary, the age. Okay. Say for example, John, Click tab. Departments is product. Tab. Maybe salary. It's $3,000. Tab. Age 45. Once you click enter, it takes you to the next. That's what Excel can do. Type Mary. Tab. Design department. Tab salary 2,500. Tab then age 28. So once you do so, you can format this as your table now. Select this, broaden it, fill it, change it to white color, and actually give it a border. All of them. This is where you select your border, add all borders, and you have this. So this is a data set now. So that's how you deal with imputing data in Excel. And let's go straight to data cleaning. Data cleaning. So in data cleaning, what you have to learn are some things like removing spaces, standardizing text, cleaning numbers, cleaning dates, removing duplicates, find and replace text to columns. Just a few. The rest would use it as you're going through the course. So let's select here, Control X is for cut, bring it here, and do Control V. So first of all, we're done with the intro. Make this place green so we know that you've done it's an intro. So removing spaces. So when you see this data in Excel, it looks messy. You can see the dates are not properly aligned. Some of them have dash, some of them have numbers, some have correct dates. You can see the product. We have bread. If you look at this bread, you see it doesn't start from beginning. See milk. Then the way they are entered, just like that. Yeah. And we have units sold, numbers. We have the unit price. Then we have total sales. So this you can, if you click on here and double tap when this shows out, you actually adjust your cells to fit all the headings and any data in the column or cell. Columns will adjust. So let's start with removing spaces. So you can actually remove spaces like this. If you look at bread, there's a space in front here. If you look closely, yep, but we don't remove it like that because we imagine our data was very long. Well, what we have to do, we can actually insert column here, insert a column here, then we copy our products down here, and we do equal to, we trim. So when you click trim, it asks you which text to trim. Select this, close the bracket, and enter. What it does now, it has trimmed out the spaces, unwanted spaces at the beginning or at the end that we didn't want. That's the first thing it does. It has removed extra spaces, any leading space or any trailing space or any double space in between. Trim removes it and makes all this data in the cell start from beginning. That there's what we call fill. If you see this little box here at the corner, if you stay on it and double click, it automatically fills autofill the whole column. If the column was 100,000, it will fill till the end or till it reaches any data. Once any data blocks it, it stops. But if it's all empty, it fills in. So we can see now our bread that was here is properly trimmed. Our pasta that was here, that there was a space in between, is properly trimmed. Our Greek yogurt too is properly trimmed. So that's the first thing we do. For we to make this data be the way it was, we can actually select all these, then copy it and still paste it again, but this time as values. Paste it as values. Why did I do that? I did that because I want to remove the formula. Now, if you can see, the formula is not there again because you've copied the column and pasted it as values. So now I can click on here and delete this column without having the issue. If I didn't do it that way, Let's go back. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay. Let's say I didn't do that. This, once you click on it, you see the formula, trim formula behind it there in the formula bar. If I just deleted this, without it shows me a reference. What it means is that the formula here doesn't see any reference. Remember, we had to reference it from this column, That's why if you delete this column, it shows a reference error. It shows a reference error that I cannot see B2 to trim. So that's why we have to look at the column that we have trimmed, copy it all through, and do Control C and paste it as values. It removes the formula, paste it as values, paste. Now the formula is gone. We can now delete safely this column. We have the right trimmed column there. Okay, and we'll be doing that in many other columns too. Secondly, what we have to do is we have removed spaces, one of the data cleaning, standardizing of text. If you look very well, you see that most of these, in this column, we have bread, milk, free, all of them, most of them start with capital letter, most of them start with lowercase. So we can actually standardize it, make it accurate, by using proper. Let's add another column again, insert. We can do still on that product and copy it. Okay. So we have bread now. We use the function proper. We still talk about it while we are solving a particular task. So you click on proper, you press on your tab to enter. Once you press tab, it asks you for text, you select this text. Then you close the bracket and click enter. What it does now is like it makes it in a proper form. It makes it in a proper form. That's what proper does. Proper makes it become properly spelled, like a word that has capital letter or uppercase and the rest is lowercase. That's what proper does. So you can actually autofill this by double tapping this box. We see all of them now. Apples, complete the apples, orange, the ones that had lower letter, the ones that have space. You can see all of them start with capital letter. With this now, you can decide to Control C this place again and paste it as values. Paste it as values. And then we can delete this column again. So now we still have our column properly arranged, properly entered, and it looks cleaner. The next thing we can go look at is cleaning the numbers. Cleaning the numbers. Yeah, cleaning the numbers. So we use what we call a value function. We use a value function to clean the numbers. For example, these numbers, it might just be entered correctly, there might be spaces in it and all those. So what we can do is, let's start with these numbers, insert, hit this one, insert, hit this one, insert. So insert them in the other places. So from here, do the unit sold. So let's try doing equals to value, then we trim this. So in case it's in text format, trim it to number. Yes. So now this looks clean now. We didn't know if this had any kind of cells, empty space or not, but now we are very sure that this value has been trimmed to value now. And actually double click and everything enters. And do the same, copy this formula, paste the formula here. It will automatically check for this, and still paste the formula here, automatically check for this. So what you can do is this one too, and this one too. Okay, also you want to make total cells in as whole numbers. You can select number, then remove the decimal points. We'll get it as whole number. Total sales now it's as whole number. Yep. Our okay, our unit price too. We can actually make it unit price. Make it as a number. Then remove the decimal point. Maybe leave it to 1 decimal point. Unit price. Yep. It's 1 decimal point, or just round it up to a whole number. So our units sold now is okay. So what we do now, we got this one, unit price. Is our unit price, our new unit price. Is our total sales. So we can look for the other columns that we don't want, or these ones that we trimmed. We can turn it to, can copy it and paste it as values. Paste the values, and we can delete this one. Delete this one. Same with this. We don't need it. We can copy this first and paste as values, and we delete this column. Yep. Then we go to unit sold, copy this one, paste it as values because it has formula there. So we have unit sold clean, and we delete this one. So now we've cleaned our values here. The next thing we can look at is looking at the date. If we see the date column, it's just anyhow. You can see numbers here. Sometimes Excel enters date as numbers. This is date, but it entered this as text. You can watch out for those ones. So the first thing you can do generally, let's copy this out again because it's going to affect what you're about to do. Let's paste it here. Yep. So we've standardized this. We have cleaned the numbers. The next thing is working with the date. So for this date, we want to make all the dates appear in a particular format, maybe this short date format. So what we do first, and select the whole column, go to data. The easiest way, simplest way to do it, go to data tab. Under text to columns, click text to columns, leave the delimited like that. See the way the date is. Click next. It asks you any qualifier. You don't need anything. Just allow it this way. Then go to next. Once you go to next, select date here and make it in a date, day, month here. And click finish. Once you click finish, all the dates that had dash aligns automatically. Align and become proper dates. Except this one. So for this one, the ones that are appeared like this, you can actually select them. Go to your home tab, select it, go to more number. If you put in a short date to go. That was just the issue. Most times it doesn't go, but you can go do other formatting, but most times it just goes automatically. That's how to clean our dates. I think we've cleaned our dates, cleaned our products, cleaned our unit sold, cleaned our unit price, cleaned our total sales. Now the location. So for the location, we'll clean our dates, clean dates. Yep, clean dates. So we click on clean dates. Remove duplicates. Okay, remove duplicates. Also, before I remove duplicates, let me do something on find and replace. Okay, we'll get to there. Let's remove duplicates. So if we look properly at this data set, we wouldn't know if there are duplicates if the data set is so much. For a small data set like this, we might actually use eyes to look and say, okay, see bread on the 2nd of January, 121, 144 total sales, London. We can see it duplicates here. But that's not always the case to look at it with the eyes and know. So we actually use a function called remove duplicate. If we want to see all the data, the column, and the rows that are duplicated, the best thing we do is we click on the data, go to data tab, remove duplicates. So when it asks, do you want to remove duplicates from individual columns or all the columns? Does your data has headers? If you want to remove duplicate just from the dates, and select all of them and select only the dates. But in our instance, we want to remove duplicate or anything that has been duplicated across the whole columns. Like for example, the bread that we saw that bread was bought on 2nd of January, bread, unit sold 120, price 1, London. So all it's the same thing is duplicated. Same with I think salmon. Salmon fillets too has a duplicate here. All the values are the same. So because of that, we leave all of them selected. So we click OK and see two duplicate values found and removed. 16 unique values remain. You can see now, if you go back to our data, we had 19 rows before, and now we have 17 rows. Why? Because the duplicate bread data and the salmon fillet data has been removed. That's how to remove duplicates from your data. So the next thing we'll look at is find and replace. Okay, find and replace is if you want to replace any value here. For example, the company say, okay, for London, we don't just use London, we use Greater London. You now say, okay, for every I see London, I'm going to change it to Greater London. So you can say, okay, first of all, in that kind of scenario, you can jump from that find and replace to text to columns. For example, we want to change London to Greater London. Yep, let's keep it there. So remember, right? First of all, let's work on text to columns. What do we use text to columns for? We use it to split. For example, the company said, no, we don't want the location to show location London, London, UK, Manchester, UK. Let's have the location and the country. Perhaps maybe if there are other data from other country, just want to know the country people are buying from. You can come to this column, go to your data tab, and click text to columns again. Once you click text to columns now, you select it delimited, you go to next, it will ask you, this screen lets you select the delimiters for your data contents. You can see how your text is affected in the preview below. So it's asking you now, how do you want to split this? You can use tab, comma, anything you want, or you can put order, move the comma, then in order here, you can put a dash. As you put a dash now, you see automatically the preview that it separates it into the city and the country. Just click next and click finish. You can see now we've totally separated location, and you can name here country. There's the other countries. It looks as there are spaces in this, so you can actually come here, do a equal to trim this, enter, do it all through. Select our country, copy it, paste here. Yep. Then can copy this and paste as values. Then we can delete this. So now our countries are properly aligned. Our location is properly aligned. So now we've done text and columns, how to use text and columns to clean data. Let's go and make it green. A lot of these are things you use daily when you're working on Excel, cleaning data. Most of these it comes in handy every time. And we go back to find and replace. So we want to replace London with Greater London. It's easier this way. So you can see our data. You can click on this cell, click Control F. Either you click Control F or you go to find here. Find here. Yeah, once you click find here, it brings out the find and replace tab. What you're looking for is London. And you want to replace it with what? Greater London. So the option, you can choose your options to say it should match the case if you want to select, or match entire cell contents, anyone. But once you do that, actually find all. Couldn't find anything. Okay. And actually replace all. Couldn't find anything. Replace. Click options for more ways to reach that. Whenever it's possible, the data you're trying to replace is in protected sheet. So this is just so you can uncheck the match entire cell content and match case. Try again. Yeah, see now this has worked. So because of the boxes we ticked, All done. We made 3 replacements. Okay, close. Now we can come back and see London that was here has been replaced with Greater London, Greater London, Greater London. So that's just a wrap and a short overview of introduction and bit of data cleaning with Excel. Keep watching my next video, and as you start this Excel tutorial, it will take you to where you would understand Excel better. Watch my next video, like and subscribe if you haven't. Remain analytical, Amos. See you.